Welcome back to Web for Tech, everyone. Today is a showdown between the Galaxy S8 Plus and the OnePlus 3T. So what are y'all waiting for? Let's go ahead and compare these phones head to head. So, as you know, these phones are really good in spec-wise in the market, and the S8 just launched 2 days. If you haven't seen our unboxing video, we also have that up there. Please go ahead and watch that. And the 3T, it's been almost roughly 5 to 6 months. It's been out in the market, and I've used it as my daily driver, and it's an awesome phone. I love OnePlus, and it's a good investment for me that I invested right when they launched the OnePlus One. So between these two phones, the OnePlus 3T and the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, they're very similar in spec wise, but the S8 is a little bit different since it's newer in the market. So I'll share with you the specs, and then we'll go ahead and turn the phones on and do the apps comparison and like speed test and all that other stuff. So in screen wise, these both phones are different. The S8 Plus has a 6.2 inch screen with 1440 by 2960 resolution, which is a 2K display, and the OnePlus 3T has a 1080 by 1920 1080p display. So that's a big difference, 2K versus a 1080p. The latest S8 Plus carries the Snapdragon 835 processor. Meanwhile, the OnePlus 3T has the Snapdragon 821 processor. On the RAM side, OnePlus 3T takes the lead and has a 6 gigs of RAM compared to the S8 Plus has 4 gigs of RAM. The one I have is 128 GB. You could also get the OnePlus 3T in 64 GB, and the S8 S8 Plus comes in the 64 GB of storage. For the camera wise, the S8 Plus has like a 12 megapixel camera, which is same as the Galaxy S7 Edge, and it has like a wide angle. That's the new change, so that's something new. And the OnePlus 3T has a 16 megapixel camera with a 2.0 aperture, and this one the S8 Plus has a 1.7 aperture. And I think the wide angle is something new, and that's what people are like trying out, and they like it. And this one doesn't have that wide angle, so that's the difference. And the front facing camera, let's go back to the front. So this is the 16 megapixel camera on the OnePlus 3T. Meanwhile, Samsung's latest S8 Plus has a 8 megapixel front facing camera. So obviously OnePlus 3T wins in the spec wise on the front facing camera. And the weight for these two phones are, as you can see, the Galaxy S8 Plus, it's almost 173 grams. Meanwhile, the OnePlus 3T is 152 grams. So that's the difference. Obviously, this is going to be more weight because they curve the edges, and it's all glass compared to this being an aluminum phone. So the body style for the OnePlus 3T is all aluminum, and the Galaxy S8 Plus has all glass and a little bit of aluminum to its weight. And then other things are, obviously this is waterproof, has an IP68 rating, water and dust resistant, and OnePlus does not have waterproof. So that's something you could consider before buying and picking out a phone you want. And then the other thing is the battery on these phones. So this holds, the Galaxy S8 Plus holds almost 3500 mAh, and this has 3400 mAh. That wouldn't make a big difference. It's only 100 mAh difference. So that shouldn't be a big kind of a difference to go ahead and picking out these two devices. These battery lives could go from 1 day minimum. It lasts for me. So let's go ahead and turn these devices on and do a inside software comparison, and then do some testing. So I'm gonna go ahead and boot these devices together, and let's see which one boots up first. So they're gonna boot up first automatically, and let's see which one goes first. So Samsung already loaded up with the logo, and the OnePlus is loading on its OnePlus logo. And S8 Plus I have is T-Mobile. So Samsung S8 Plus loaded with the screen ready to go and unlocked. And we're going to wait for the OnePlus to boot up and load up. And then Oxygen OS on OnePlus. So there you go. Both with the same wallpaper on them, so we could take a look at the screen quality and see the difference. And both phones are now loaded, and we're going to go ahead and unlock them. So this is already unlocked, and I'm going to swipe up to unlock this. And as you can see, they are same wallpaper, and you could see the brightness and the difference between it. So this is a 2K display on the S8 Plus, and this is a 1080p full brightness. And we're going to go ahead and see some features on them. So Let's go ahead and go to settings and let's see what Android they're running. So this is running the latest Android 7.1.1 and this is running Nougat 7.0. So as you can see, this is on 7.0. I think it's under software. There you go, Android 7.0, and this one's on 7.1.1. So OnePlus 3T is up to the latest Nougat of Android, and the Samsung's is one version behind of Nougat. And as you can see, the menus are a little bit different of the settings. This is more simpler. Meanwhile, this is simple, but it gives you the descriptions of each menu it does. And both have the search bar, just like generic Android. And there you go. So the settings are similar to each other, as it's both running Android Nougat. And let's look at the status bar. So status bar is also similar, very similar. Has your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth connections, and all that stuff. So same status bar, nav bar up here, and I turn the location. Okay. So the other thing is, let's go ahead and take a look at some apps. Let's do a benchmark first, and then we'll do a comparison. So I'm gonna go ahead and run I downloaded Antutu benchmark on both of these phones, and I'm gonna do a comparison and run it, and then we'll see the difference. So I'm gonna close all tasks from both phones. That they're all closed. So all the tasks are closed, and they have no apps running. So we'll be fair. And they're both running the same Wi-Fi, as you can see. They're both on the same Wi-Fi, and then I'm gonna go ahead and run the benchmark. And run the Antutu benchmark test and see how the results are. So let's go ahead and do it, and let me put it properly so you can see it. And then both are being done. So let the process run. So obviously the S8 Plus is the latest in the market, so it should be a little bit better than the OnePlus 3T as it's been in the market. So the graphic test is being done, and it's doing its benchmark results. See, it's still doing the benchmark at 1080, but when the S8 Plus is on, the screen is capable of doing 2K, so that's the difference. So OnePlus 3T, as you can see, loaded up a little bit faster on this app that they're testing in the benchmark, and Samsung opened just right after. 97, OnePlus 3T and S8 Plus 95. Now it's at 97. So there you go. OnePlus finished the benchmarks, and then we're waiting for Samsung, and we'll go ahead and compare it really quick and then do some app testing inside. So there you go. As you can see, Samsung has a better score compared to the OnePlus 3T. Obviously, it has a newer processor. And let's go ahead and do a little breakdown. So for the graphics, such as the 3D rendering, Samsung won, and I expected that because this doesn't have much of a better screen or a graphics built in. Samsung has a better display, and it runs much smoother. And UX wise, OnePlus obviously it's simpler, so the UX is going to be much better on the OnePlus 3T. It's not a big of a difference, only by like almost like 300. And then CPU, the Galaxy S8 Plus did not win in the CPU benchmark compared to the OnePlus 3. Oh, opposite way. OnePlus 3T did not win in the benchmarks in the CPU because obviously it has an 835, and OnePlus is running on the 820, so it's a little bit older. These processors this is the newest processor, and it's much efficient and more performative because it's the latest one in the market, and the one on the OnePlus 3T is a little bit older. And the RAM, obviously 6 gigs, so I knew that was gonna happen. So OnePlus took the lead in the RAM by like almost like 1,000, and then Samsung has 4 gigs of RAM, so that was a big difference. So as you can see, these are the results, and obviously a newer phone versus to something that's 6 months old. So we're gonna go ahead and do some app testing now, and then I'm gonna clear all the apps out. So let's go ahead and close. So as you can see, their clearing of app is also very similar, not a big difference. We're gonna go ahead and clear it. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is open up YouTube together and see which one renders up first. We're both connected to the same Wi-Fi, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and click YouTube and load them up. So Samsung barely made it and came up first. Meanwhile, OnePlus 3T came right after it. So Samsung wins in that YouTube app opening. We're gonna go ahead and clear the RAM and then go open up a different app just for this testing. So, and then the other thing is Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus has these physical buttons here. They don't have the physical buttons just like the OnePlus 3T does. It has the physical home button, but these back and these recent menu buttons are like hidden, so it's hard to see. And then Samsung S8 Plus has like these physical buttons under the screen, so that feels something nicer. But their home button on the OnePlus 3T is something to have. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is a quick rundown for the web browser and testing the speed on these for the web browser. So OnePlus 3T and the Samsung S8 Plus are running Chrome. I'm gonna press Chrome together. They're gonna load up. I'm gonna go to my bookmarks and then load up the bookmarks I have together, so equal speed and equal test. So I'm under my bookmarks right now, and then I'm gonna press them together at the same time, and let's see which one renders up first and loads. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Web for Tech first and load it up together. Ready, set, go. Web for Tech is rendering on both sides, and then OnePlus I think was a little bit milliseconds ahead, and S8 came right behind it, so it wasn't a big difference. They're right there neck to neck. Then we're gonna go ahead and go back to bookmarks, and then we're gonna go ahead and run Wikipedia and just one more test and see which one loads up first. So I'm gonna press them together. 1, 2, 3, go. And S8 came up first in that. So they're neck to neck. They're not a big difference. They're very similar. They're just like off by a millisecond. And then now we're gonna go ahead and go back to the home, clear our apps and RAM. And what we're gonna do is do a little click on the game, and then let me make sure the volume is off so it's not loud for you. And then shut the volume down, and then run. The game I'm just gonna open up is Fruit Ninja and just test out the colors and how smooth and all that stuff. So Fruit Ninja, and then we're gonna go ahead and set it up and play a little bit. So both loaded up, and as you can see, the colors on the S8 Plus are more brighter and vivid, and a little bit better because it has a 2K display. And then one on the OnePlus, it's a little bit similar, but you can see the difference on the colors. More sharper and a little bit not sharpened. So we're gonna go ahead and do a classic game, and then the sound is still there, so let me shut the sound down so you could hear me. So there you go, sound is off, and game's gonna load up. And see, as you can see, so color wise and graphics wise, S8 comes up more better compared to the OnePlus, and smoother, and this I also feel it's smooth, so it's not a big difference in performance, it's just the graphics. We're gonna go back to home and then do a quick roundup on the other apps. So we're back on home, and then so that was our game thing. I'm just gonna load up a Google Maps together and see which one opens, because that's something I like. So I knew this was gonna come up. I'm just gonna make sure it's set up proper, and then I'll rerun it. No thanks. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn location on for both. So we're gonna go to location. Both location are on, and then we're gonna end them and open up again. And then both are cleared, and we're gonna open them together. OnePlus loaded up faster. Meanwhile, see, OnePlus corrected its location also, so loaded up faster and corrected location. Samsung opened right there, so still not so much difference in performance. They're neck to neck, not a big difference. And then lastly, the software wise, so as you can see, Samsung's launcher we could open up just like this launcher, so you can press on screen and load up. So that's the nougat style, I guess, and it loads up everything. And then the other thing is let's go to settings really quick and then show you a big like a difference. I feel like this is more simplistic and this is more Samsung managed, so it's preferences here, how you want it, how you want your software. Other than that, they're very close to each other. Obviously S8 Plus is the latest one in the market. Meanwhile, the OnePlus 3T has been there, and it's still something considerable, a good device if you want to save money and have performance. And other than that, they're very close to each other. I hope you like this video and the comparison. If you have any suggestions or comments, please go ahead and leave them below. And please do subscribe and share this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.